Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the final day of the 18-metre and 20-metre nationals at Lasham. So I can get the slides to work. Okay, it is Sunday the 29th. Some quick update from the manager. No change. Just remember a reminder about dogs in the restaurant, and well done everyone for keeping to the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. This evening it is barbecue night on the patio, which will go quite nicely with your prize giving. So you can have a hot dog and a bit of steak and watch yourself get your cups. Director's notes. Obviously, we didn't fly yesterday. We scrubbed at about 3 o'clock. The sky did eventually improve locally, and we probably could have just scraped a minimum distance day out for at least the 18s. But we felt we were going to be giving a fairly unfair race if we did that, because the sky was extremely variable in the launch area, and we were running fairly rapidly out of day to give you any choice of start time. However, a few people did make it around the task. I'm pretty confident Kim, Jason and Ian got round. I hear rumours that Andy may have used his turbo. I'm not sure whether Bill got round as well. It looked like he did, but really well done to those who proved it was possible yesterday, even if it was at about 60 kph and not necessarily massively enjoyable. Prize giving this evening. There will be prize giving after flying on the patio. We'll do it as quickly as we sensibly can, and we'll try and update you by text via robo control to keep you up to date with how quickly we'll expect to be able to do that. Those of you who have trophies on site, if you could drop them into control, that would be really helpful, so that we've got all the bits to hand out again. Results. Just a reminder of the overall positions. Steve Jones in the lead in the 20 metres with about a 200-point lead, nearly 150-point lead. Tim Scott in second, and close on his heels, Gary Coppin, and a good gaggle behind the close place behind that. In the 18 metres, it's really tight at the top, less than 100 points in it between the top three, so it should be all to play for today. Okay, Colin, over to you for the weather.
Hi, thanks for that, Ed. Quick screen share. And the weather, right. This high pressure system to the north of us really is clinging on, and it looks like it's going to be here for the next 3, maybe 4 days before any real change starts to take place. It's been different air mass, or slightly different air mass every day, which has given us certainly some challenges. Today on the chart, isobars slightly further apart, pressure over us about 1,026, 1,027 at the moment. So it's fluctuated up and down in the last few days. Cloud feature out here, I think that's given us a bit of a change of air, and may have some effect very late in the day, but not for your task area, not back at Lasham really. I think more over Kent. Moving on, just a quick look at the tasks, because they have changed like they've done over many days recently. It came up earlier, variable at 4 knots, and I couldn't figure that as relating to any forecast that I'd actually seen. But then they've quickly chucked in there between 10 and 12, it going to 020 10 knots, which is pretty much what we thought on the ground, between 6 and 8 knots during the time of launching. And they've had in there scattered at 4.5. They've now changed it to scattered at 4. I think we will start to see cumulus probably within the next hour or so. And the upper winds, yeah, about 10 knots, maybe a fraction more over us for most of the day, 030, 040, so light northeasterly really. Sat pick is where it starts to get interesting. We've just been watching what's going on. We'd obviously expect some clouds streaming in off the North Sea. This is not particularly thick looking at the webcams, but I've been watching this blob over sort of the Cotswolds really and develop. The webcams at Aston Down and Nymphsfield, so it's, you know, looks 500 feet and overcast there. It might take a little bit longer to burn that off than we thought. I'm not sure how far it's going to drift down into this area here. But down here, temperatures and over us, temperatures are building quite nicely. Last time I checked, it's about 14.5 degrees on the Lasham webcam. It's going up about 2 degrees an hour. And I think both the BBC and all the other models seem to agree that 20 degrees, maybe 21 over the south seems to be about right. Dew points currently over most of southern England are around about 11 degrees, but they should be down to somewhere around 8s, maybe 7s down over us and on the south coast. And if they stick to that, that's a pretty good temperature split. And you plug those numbers into the predicted soundings, and certainly by 1 o'clock round here, if you've got a dew point down to about 9, we should see cloud base about 4,000 feet above sea level by very early afternoon, based on a temperature of 19 degrees, looking at the way it's going up at the moment. And then moving on into the afternoon, cloud base continues to go up, 21 degrees and a dew point of 8 give cloud base, in theory, somewhere around 5,000 feet, maybe a little bit more. Top Meteo were saying more than that. They were saying 1,800 meters this morning. I'm just going on the conservative side of about 5,000 feet. And then looking further west, by the afternoon, again with dew points down at around the sort of 7 to 8. Again, cloud base well above 5,000 feet above sea level. Tops probably around 6.5, and beginning to sort of thin out quite a lot. I just put the Nottingham sounding up here to show you the overnight sounding and the inversion in here, which is going to take somewhere around 17 to 18 degrees to break the inversion and start to get real cumulus and proper thermals. I think that's going to be approached by 10:30, 11 o'clock, the way the temperatures are building. We're already seeing the first signs of mixing with the dew points flattening off and a slight halt in the temperature rise. So I think we'll get there by 11 o'clock and we'll have a really good idea of where it's going, both here and out to the west, where we're watching that chunk of cloud. Top Meteo has updated them. Let's log me out again. Apologies for that, folks. Been watching this sort of little blob of cloud being shown on Top Meteo. 10 o'clock. By 11, it's starting to disappear. And probably by 12 o'clock, it's completely gone, turned into cumulus. And then we've got, according to Top Meteo, cumulus over a reasonable area here. I think it's going to be a lot further to the north and to the east as well. I think we're going to see more cumulus than suggested there. And for most of the day, we play it through sort of 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, I think we're going to see plenty of cumulus up towards beyond Oxford, Dunstable, Cambridge area, and down into the south of England and the southwest. And they're suggesting fizzling out sometime around 6 o'clock. Wouldn't be surprised if it goes on a little bit beyond that, but I wouldn't rely on that, folks. So let's look at thermal heights by 1 o'clock. They're already suggesting sort of 4,000 feet, so 1,400 meters around Lasham, and then move it on a few hours, anywhere between 1,500 and 1,700 meters in this area here, up to Oxford, and down into the West Country. So fingers crossed, pretty good day, folks. Quite a long weather window for your tasks, running into sort of 5, 6 o'clock. Still got 1,800 meters predicted. I think certainly going to be above 5,000 feet. How far above, I'm not exactly sure at the moment. And then their suggested task area is really anywhere west of Lasham, north up to Oxford, and then down into the West Country. The best area appears to be around us and just out to the west. Sky sight, very similar. We'll keep an eye on the update. As I say, the fly in the ointment might be that cloud that's lurking over the Cotswolds at the moment and travelling very, very slowly in a sort of northeasterly direction. We'll keep an eye on that, and that might modify what we do and set a little bit later. Okay, Ed, so back to you.
Thanks, Colin.
You should be able to reshare.
Yep. Okay, so on to tasks for today. Just a reminder, the minimum finish height today we've set back down to 300 feet AGL, given the lighter winds. We've set a number of assigned area tasks today. For those of you who've not flown one before, we know there are a few at this week. If you do need a briefing on how to fly them in principle, come and talk to the task setting team or the director, and we can give you a kind of introduction 101 brief to flying AATs. Task notes today are on the back of your task sheets. There were so many notes we couldn't fit them all on the front and still meet the requirements of the task sheet, so we've had to put them on the back. So remember to look at both sides. And for robo control, there'll be a separate file with the extra set of information on it available on robo control, as well as the task sheet today. So the tasks for the 18 meters, the current A task is a 3.5 hour assigned area task. Minimum distance 265, max distance 609, down to the southwest, and the idea being to be able to make distance along the south coast here or into the kind of Devon area and potentially a bit further. That's the idea is potentially there might be some sea breezes around here, and should be very good conditions in this area. Then back up towards through the Gap and up towards Oxford, and then back for quite a large control point to allow you to adjust fine-tune your time at the end back at Whitchurch. The B task for the 18s, a racing task, 320 kilometres down to the southwest. Again, similar sort of area, just slightly, if we don't think it's going to be quite as good as we'd hoped, this was kind of our fallback. And then the A task for the 20 meters, a 3.5 hour AAT in the same area. We've added a little sector here. You'll be a bit later, so there might be a chance to pick up the sea breeze along the south edge of Lyme Bay and around Weymouth, if that interests you. And then the B task, again, another shorter racing task, 301 kilometers. Again, down to the southwest. Okay, Colin, over to you for the airspace.
Thanks, Ed, and good morning, everyone. It's been a bit protracted today, I'm afraid. There's quite a lot to get through, so please bear with me. Most of the stuff I say will be important. Okay, here we go. The update for today. Airspace file is still version 3. It has not changed. The Compton box is closed. ODM 80Z is a penalty zone. Marsh Gibbon DZ is a penalty zone. Not really of interest at the moment, but we'll tell you about it anyway. Para Chiltern Park is a penalty zone. Para Dunkerswell is a penalty zone. Para Old Sarum is a penalty zone. Para Keyville, not a penalty zone. Para Chalgrove, not a penalty zone, but there's a caution that goes with that statement. We've had a message from Chalgrove to say that the site is locked. There is no one available to do any unlocking, and it is a 6-foot-high fence and gate. There won't be anyone to unlock to let anyone out or in until Tuesday. Probably not a good idea to land out there if you have to. Might be better just outside the fence. Moving on, Popham had a word with me on Friday. They're quite happy, but they have asked me to remind you that their circuit height is 800 feet above ground level. And this is a request from them. Please talk to them if you're below 1,400 feet above ground in their area. It helps them improve the situational awareness. It also will help you improve your situational awareness of what aircraft they've got in the circuit, and they will be busy today. We want to keep a good relationship with them, and because they are quite useful to us. Moving on. Now, if you remember back to the actual tasks, there are a number of inactive danger areas which are not penalty zones. They're mainly in the Lyme Bay area and south of Plymouth. They're listed there. They are not active. They are not a penalty zone. So if there's a nice convergence across Lyme Bay, well, who's for me to say what you might want to do with it? The only caution there is restricted area 002, which is near Plymouth, is a penalty zone. It's quite a small one. We should be able to well avoid it. It tops out at 2,000 feet above ground level. There's our task area, and this is using the A task for the 18 meters. It encompasses pretty well everything we want to talk about. I'll walk around it with you, if I may. Obviously, proximity to all this airspace here is critical. The wind is tending to take you towards it. You've also, if you're up on the northern side, you've got Middle Wallop and the Porton Down area. Para Old Sarum is active and is a penalty zone. There is Compton Abbas ATZ. And then if you're flying down here, these are the danger areas I was referring to. They are all the ones immediately off the coast are inactive, as are these down here. And that's the little restricted area just there, which is a penalty zone. Coming further on your way home, up here somewhere, you could be getting close to the Bristol CTA and, dare I say it, the Cardiff CTA. Dunkeswell, sorry, thank you. Yes, Dunkeswell, there we go. Dunkeswell is an active penalty zone for their parachuting. Dunkeswell is active. Of course, you've got Exeter with their ATZ as well. So back up here, Cardiff CTZ, CTA, and also Bristol. Parakeeville, not active. Coming up this way, Benson ATZ is active. Chalgrove, Chalgrove, not active, and then there was that comment I made about landing there. Also, Chiltern Park is active, is a penalty zone, and it could be on your track. Don't forget the two restricted stroke prohibited areas, Berkeley and Aldermaston. Don't think there's anything else to mention on that. My next one is to show you where the juniors are going today out of Aston Down. They're using, looks to me as they're using variable barrels, but I'm not quite sure. So, well, with the juniors, anything could happen, couldn't it? So you will have a degree of conflict in this area here. If we go back up to, we're looking in this area, so there will be a bit of a degree of conflict, so very much eyes out and don't rely totally on your FLARM. I'm not sure how many juniors have got FLARM on board. Should all have, but we never know, do we? Okay, I need to speak about Carfest just because it's there. They had 35,000 people there yesterday. So it is an issue in this area relative to Popham. 1,500 feet minimum over the top. Otherwise you could, well, it could be an issue. Let's say no more than that. So just remember it for safety reasons. Airfield radio frequencies, nothing changed there. Please keep the prefixes, prefix the calls with Lasham. Once again, it does help us tremendously. Any questions? Well, the chat function's open. We'll pause there for a moment.
Can I just avoid that? The Sidmouth rat does not exist.
Sidmouth rat does not exist. If you've got version 3 of the Airspace file, it won't even appear. That's all. Okay, we'll move on. Back to you, Ed.
Thank you very much, Colin. Okay, so airfield layout, you hopefully are all out on the grid already at 09. Relights again to the south of the runway on 09. Hopefully you won't need them today. Just for finishing today, because we've got quite a large final sector in the AAT, the blue arrows show where you guys will be coming in from, but obviously depending on whether you've just clipped the barrel or whether you've maxed out the distance, you'll be coming in from quite a spread of angles, maybe 20 or 30 degrees. So just be very aware, particularly in the last sort of 5 or 10 kilometers, that you potentially will be gently converging with people doing very similar speeds, which makes them very, very hard to spot. So please keep a really good lookout around you to your left and right as you're coming in. Obviously, the club circuit, hopefully most of the club gliders will be doing a circuit on the north side. But what that does mean is in this area and maybe the last 3 to 4K from the airfield, it could get very, very busy with converging traffic from all sorts of directions at similar heights. So just please keep your wits about you, talk to each other, and make sure you know where each other are. Club operations today is likely to be pretty busy at Lasham. I've got a really good forecast. I suspect we'll see a lot more club gliders today. Again, that just makes transiting back and forward across the airfield. Be extra cautious if you're going out into the grid. Keep a really good lookout for tugs and club gliders doing things on the north side grass. Finishing as before, land long, keep taxiing straight, don't taxi off. Scoring, please submit traces within 1 hour of landing. Given it's an AAT and it's the final day, the earlier you get the trace into us, the better. It'll make Benedict not have a heart attack if you can get that in fairly promptly after landing. Okay, Michael, any questions coming through on the chat?
There are no questions I can see at the moment. No.
Okay, no questions. So first launch not before 11, but we realistically want to get you away as early as we sensibly can. So actually there's a sort of pretty realistic launch window around early lunchtime, if not a little bit before. Last launch 1800. Next briefing will be prize giving this evening. So thank you very much, everyone, and thanks for flying safely throughout the comp. Much appreciated. See you this evening.